This is the weekly roundup on EAC News Channel, your look back at the past week in the Kingdom of Wonder. A very good evening, I'm Darshana Gauchan. Prime Minister Hun Sen has revealed that the royal government of Cambodia has already prepared a special prison for Sam Rainsy if he ever returns to Cambodia. The Prime Minister has also urged Rainsy to come back to Cambodia as soon as possible. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
Speaking at the graduation ceremony for the students of the National University of Management on Monday morning, Prime Minister Hun Sen said that he has not prohibited Sam Rainsy from entering the country and that any plane can still carry him back to Cambodia. However, the Prime Minister stressed that the only thing that will greet Sam Rainsy when he arrives at the airport will be handcuffs. In the same graduation address, Prime Minister Hun Sen also appeared to call Sam Rainsy the most corrupt person in the 500 years of Cambodian history, though he did not directly use the opposition leader's name. Prime Minister Hun Sen asserted that his belief that Sam Rainsy is the most corrupt person in the past 500 years of Cambodian history because of the trouble his political ideology causes to his followers and the danger he brings to the nation. He also announced the dissolution of Sam Rainsy's ideology in Cambodia, and thus all political parties affiliated with the opposition leader will face lawsuits. Sam Rainsy himself is currently facing a number of lawsuits, some of which have already been through the court process. On the 9th of November 2019, Sam Rainsy has announced his return to Cambodia, but ended up only going to Indonesia. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen has announced the dissolution of Sam Rainsy's extremist ideology, which he described as being the policy of 3 generations of traitors. Speaking at the graduation ceremony for students of the National University of Management on Monday morning, Prime Minister Hun Sen responded to a statement made by Sam Rainsy calling on the Cambodian people and the armed forces to make change in Cambodia in 2023. The Prime Minister said that Sam Rainsy's statement was made with a malicious intent to destroy peace, stability, and the 2023 democratic elections in Cambodia. At the same time, next year also marks the 20th anniversary of Sam Rainsy declaring that if C stays, Sen must go, and if Sen stays, C must go. Hence, the Prime Minister announced that he will be abolishing the ideology pushed by Sam Rainsy from now on.
Nơi mà nô cung vị chia này phu quạt chiếc bây chậm nọt ai mau dưới pi ta côn hôn bát ta côn hôn nâng ta côn xóm hạt đôi kia đi ta côn hôn mình đai chiếc bát đi ta côn hôn bàn ruộng chậm này thơ ai bật tên này đi chậm ra thơ ai bật tên này đi chậm ra ta côn xóm thế để bát tăng pi chỉ ta rồi hốt đỏ bốc rồi hốt đỏ côn.
Born in 1949, Sam Rainsy is the son of Sam Sari and the grandson of Sam Nien. Sam Rainsy's father, Sam Sari, was considered a major traitor to Cambodia by King Norodom Sihanouk's Sangkum Ria Niyum government, after the Bangkok plot against the then Prince Norodom Sihanouk was leaked, revealing Sam Sari's intention to overthrow the Sangkum Ria Niyum government. In January 1959, the government of Prince Norodom Sihanouk issued an arrest warrant for Sam Sari and his party. However, he escaped and then later disappeared. According to Prime Minister Hun Sen's announcement, Sam Rainsy's political ideology will become the second to be abolished in Cambodia since the dissolution of the Khmer Rouge ideology in the 1990s. Prime Minister Hun Sen has ordered the Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries, as well as the local authorities, to stay close to flood victims in order to effectively assess the situation and make needed interventions when necessary. Speaking at the graduation ceremony for more than 6,000 students of the National University of Management on Monday morning, the Prime Minister of Cambodia ordered the Minister of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries and local authorities to remain close to the people who have been hit hard by floods in the country. He said that authorities and officials must always be on the lookout to make accurate assessments and immediate interventions when necessary in order to protect the people and to protect rice crops. មន្ត្រីកសិកម្មទាំងអស់ក៏ដូចជាអាជ្ញាធរដែរនេះមិនមែនជិះសេះមើលផ្កាទេត្រូវនៅឲ្យជាប់ជាមួយប្រជាពលរដ្ឋវាយតម្លៃឲ្យត្រូវហើយនៅគៀកកិត្តជាមួយគាត់ The Prime Minister further thanked the Cambodian Red Cross and all other individuals and groups who have distributed aid to the people affected by the recent floods. Comparing the incidents of flooding between 2020 and 2022, the Prime Minister noted that this year's situation is different because in 2020, the government only made a general intervention, while in 2022, the government has had to first intervene and aid the people who have been hardest hit with the most precarious circumstances. During the graduation ceremony for students of the National University of Management on Monday morning, the Prime Minister of Cambodia confirmed that he will once again be going to register to vote, as he recently changed his official date of birth and will need to update his voter registration details. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
In previous parliamentary elections, the Prime Minister's date of birth was listed on the 1st of April 1951 on the official voter list. However, this year he changed his date of birth to the 5th of August 1952, so he must go and register again with his updated personal information. During his speech, the Prime Minister also called on members of the public who have not yet registered to vote to hurry up and do so in order to prepare for the 2023 general election scheduled to take place on the 23rd of July 2023. The National Election Committee has set the 20th of October to the 8th of December 2022 as a time period for citizens to verify their details on the official voter list and register to vote if they have not already done so. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen has instructed the governor of Battambang Province, Soklu, to cut part of the land bordering Pailin Province and to hand it over to the governor of Pailin. EAC News reporter Dekanin has the details.
During the graduation ceremony for more than 6,000 students of the National University of Management on Monday morning, the Prime Minister told the governor of Battambang Province, Soklu, and the governor of Pailin, Ban Srai Mom, that if this land division issue cannot be solved within 2 weeks, he will have to come there in person to solve this matter at once.
Vì mến cắt lấy ai bỏ được tới hệ na phôm đang chỉ phôm bong ôn thư sớm ra là cam đòi tranh máu nè mà chấm nuốt bỏ nơi bay lên mà chấm nuốt nơi bắt bong hay bắt bong cái đây vừa thôm na cắt ai bay lênประมาณ 1,000 hay ta năng tư đào bay ai bị chỉ chuột nó cọt tì muôi cọt chột một bọt sao nè na bọt chột một bọt sao có ai tê According to
the Prime Minister, provincial governors have not been able to solve this problem for almost 30 years. The Prime Minister acknowledged that the reason for this may be due to some powerful people having land in the area for mango cultivation, which likely prevents the Battambang provincial governor from cutting part of the land to give to Pailin province. He assured the landowners in that area that the land for mango cultivation will not go anywhere and that they can continue to harvest mango there with no need to stop. Ekanin, EAC News.
Cambodia and Vietnam are committed to further deepening the relationship between the two countries and the two main political parties, especially in the fields of defense, investment, and trade. Politburo member and permanent member of the Communist Party of Vietnam, Vo Van Thuong, expressed Vietnam's commitment to Cambodia during a courtesy visit with Prime Minister Hun Sen on Tuesday morning. The Prime Minister's Assistant and Secretary of State for the Ministry of Environment, Ieng Sopalait, told reporters after the meeting that Vo Van Thung's visit to Cambodia and meeting with Prime Minister Hun Sen has the purpose of expanding and strengthening relations between the two parties and countries. He said the Vietnamese side has asked the royal government for guidelines on how to promote the further exchange of visits between the two party leaders of Vietnam and Cambodia. This is also to promote the relationship between the provinces and capitals of both countries and to promote cooperation in the fields of defense, security, investment, trade, and cooperation in the regional and global framework. In response, Prime Minister Hun Sen expressed his support for the requests made by the Vietnamese side. The Prime Minister's assistant, Ieng Sopalait, quoted Prime Minister Hun Sen as saying, "The priority work is to promote good cooperation between the provinces and border provinces, especially regarding security, the facilitation of the flow of goods, facilitation of trade, and prevention of illegal activities such as trafficking, drug smuggling, and human trafficking." The risk prevention team of the Apsara Authority has taken wooden scaffolding to immediately support the first sealing of the southern part of Angkor Wat, after some parts of it were affected by heavy rainfall. EAC News reporter Dekanin has the details.
The Apsara Authority announced on Monday afternoon that due to a number of natural factors such as rain, wind, heat, plantation growth, and age, some parts of the Angkor Wat temple structure are at risk of damage. The first ceiling of the southern part of Angkor Wat, which is 100 meters long, 5 meters wide, and 7 meters high, has now been temporarily blocked off by risk prevention team. The Deputy Director of the Department of Water Management, Forestry and Infrastructure of the Apsara Authority, Sokso Setla, has said that the main aggravating factor causing weakness of the Angkor Wat structure is the heavy rainfall over the past few weeks. He said, in the last 2 to 3 weeks, it has been raining heavily and water is pouring into all parts of the first ceiling in the southern part of Angkor Wat, affecting the foundation, causing parts of the ceiling to move, the walls to lift, and the beams to begin to separate. He further added, due to this problem, the risk prevention team has taken some wooden scaffolding to immediately provide temporary relief to the structure while awaiting the recommendation of the ICC Angkor Committee on what to do next. In the past, the risk prevention team of the Apsara Authority's Department of Water Management, Forestry and Infrastructure has extensively studied a risk map to determine the temple locations that require intervention to prevent any problems from occurring. The Apsara Authority added that its risk prevention team is planning to work on strengthening the beams, pillars, and roofs of the 38 more temples in the Angkor Wat complex. Dekanin, EAC News.
Minister attached to the Prime Minister and Secretary of State of the Ministry of Social Affairs, Veterans and Youth, Samheng Boros, attended the research conference on improving Cambodian health and well-being at the University of Putisastra on 13th October, where he spoke a bit about the importance of prioritizing and raising awareness on mental health issues. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis attended the conference and had a chance to interview Secretary of State Samheng Boros.
The University of Putisastra held a 2-day conference on improving Cambodian health and well-being ways forward on the 13th and 14th of October, where distinguished guests delivered keynote speeches and plenary discussions were held on a number of health-related topics. One of the distinguished guest speakers was the Minister attached to the Prime Minister and the Secretary of State for Ministry of Social Affairs, Veterans and Youth, Samheng Boros, who spoke about the subject of mental health and the importance of identifying and being aware of mental health issues in Cambodian society.
To me, this is something that I feel is really important in this stage of Cambodian. We still, it's the society, our Cambodian society at the moment are not yet identify mental health as individual problem. They don't see that they have it. And there is a heavy stigma and that they believe that if you have a mental health issue, you will be crazy.
The Secretary of State said that the stigma is why so many continue to hide their mental health problems and will not seek help. He stressed that this is a very important issue to address because last year the Ministry of Interior announced that there were 247 cases of suicide in Cambodia. He said there was a great need to train more people to become psychologists, counsellors, therapists and even life coaches.
Even right now, my Ministry of Social Affairs, where we are working on producing enough social workers that can deploy in all areas of the our community to actually help provide a counseling to our citizens.
He acknowledged that there are a lot of people out there who are too scared to ask for and seek help to social stigma. He, however, also encourages people to open up, and he said that opening up can help to ease the pain in one feeling, and there are some NGOs in the country that can provide support. One of the biggest obstacles to great awareness and acceptance is mental health problems. The Secretary of State sees them rooted in traditional prescriptions of masculinity, where men are expected not to show their weaknesses and that would lead them to lose their manhood.
You know, my name is actually Borah. You know, Borah in Cambodia means man. I've gone through that male syndrome. You know, we want to be protected, want to be strong, especially for our family member, for our peer to recognize us differently. But by doing that and not acknowledge our problem, it's suffering. You will end up on a destruction path if you are not acknowledging your problem and open it up.
He also touched on the subject of suicide, how it affects entire families.
Society as a whole, to start discussing this and to allow them to understand. But of course, I think if you look into a person in trauma, in traumatic, a surgical problem already, that actually in a mental health issue already, they will not understand any other important than themselves.
The Secretary of State was kind enough to open up about his own experiences of growing up in the Khmer Rouge and the great trauma his parents experienced and continue to carry from having lost many family members, including a child.
Yeah, I want to be honest even further. So even myself, you know, growing up in a genocide era where it just ended, our parents were suffering from the loss of everything. They lost a family member, they even lost their kids, their mom and dad, right? So raising children through that, it was so tough for them. We were taught to not trust anyone. We were taught to not complain, to not everything. And we actually, I was lucky that I was not being abused by my parents, but many of my friends was abused by them. So carrying this trauma in them for so long, it's so hard for them to understand what is the right thing to do. What we are working with is to make sure that all professionals are talking about this. All students understand about this. And even private sector.
Finishing up the interview, Secretary of State Samheng Botto said he would like to train the younger generation to better understand how social workers and counsellors can help society to reduce existing stigma against mental health problems and move towards a future where everyone can receive help that they need. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
And when people may be able to identify their problem,
a curiosity and desire to gain new skills drew this Cambodian flight attendant to study piloting in several different countries so that she could finally pursue a career as an airline pilot in Cambodia. EAC News reporter Dekanin has the story.
33-year-old Hong Chanda from Phnom Penh has been working as a pilot for LeMay Airlines. Originally a flight attendant, she described developing an interest in piloting after seeing pilots do their work up close. After striving for her goals and overcoming many challenges, Chanda was finally able to achieve her dream of becoming a pilot. Chanda studied at a ground school in Vietnam for 6 months, went on to study in the Philippines for 13 months, and then finally took a course in South Korea for 1 month and 20 days. She said that love and satisfaction for the work and a strong desire to try something new pushed her to overcome all difficulties and achieve the position she has today.
ជាធម្មតាយើងចូលចិត្តឆ្ងល់អញ្ចឹងនៅខាងមុខវាមានអីដែលត្រូវមើលច្រើនពេលដែលយើងចូល service captain អញ្ចឹងទៅយើងឆ្ងល់ពីហេតុអីបានគាត់ហោះអារៀបហោះគាត់មិនផ្លូវអីមិនពេលគាត់និយាយជាមួយ ATC គឺមិនពេលអញ្ចឹងយើងចាចង់ដឹងចង់អីទៅហើយ
The 3-year-old recalled that as a child, she originally wanted to become an archaeologist because of her interest in Khmer history. But as she grew up, her mind changed and she fell in love with aviation. She said that after training and working as a flight attendant for 3 years, from 2013 to 2016, she wanted to increase her skills even more and worked hard to become a pilot. What pushed this Cambodian woman to pursue piloting more than anything else was a strong desire to gain new knowledge and try something new. Hong Chanda said her success can also be attributed to the encouragement she received from the people around her, which prompted her to continue working hard, register for pilot exam, and continue her studies.
ក៏មានលោកពូជាអ្នកបើកយន្តហោះម្នាក់គាត់បានប្រាប់ថា ហើយចង់ដឹងហ្នឹងឯងសាក់ទីណាព្រោះខាងក្រុមហ៊ុនហ្នឹងគេមានសហការគ្នាជាមួយវៀតណាមអញ្ចឹងសាក់ទៅប្រឡងទៅបើជាប់ធៀនទៅបើថាអត់ជាប់ទេក៏មកធ្វើការវិញទៅចា៎
Speaking more on the pilot exam, Jenna explained that it is divided into 2 stages. The first stage is an English proficiency test and fitness test, and the second is a face-to-face interview. On her career, Jenna said that she has been a pilot now for 3 years and has flown around 1,000 hours in total. She says she has only about 500 hours left before she should be promoted to the position of senior pilot and captain. However, she clarified that this decision also depends on the principles and review practices of each company. Another female pilot, 27-year-old Kautep Suchita, shared that the type of aircraft a pilot can fly depends on the size of the plane. At the moment, Suchita said that she can only fly one type of aircraft.
ខ្ញុំចង់ឲ្យគេហៅថា CPL ហ្នឹងមានន័យថាយើងមានសិទ្ធិអាចដឹកភ្ញៀវបានប៉ុន្តែទៅលើនឹងຂະຫນາດយន្តហោះដែរ
Suchita shared some advice and said that to achieve the goal of becoming a pilot, one has to have patience, perseverance, and a clear focus on their goals. Hong Chinda added that as a first-generation student, she has tried to help spread the word about piloting through interviews with the media and also regularly provides tips to younger generations who are interested in pursuing this career. However, one thing that she wanted to emphasize and make people aware of is the increase in responsibilities after becoming a pilot. She said that her responsibility level is currently far higher than when she was in school and only flying small planes. She added that the main difficulties she has encountered during flights are weather problems and needing to conduct technical aircraft inspections, as such inspections require an immediate decision and resolution if any issues are detected. Most of all, Hong Chinda hopes that her story can inspire many more to pursue their dreams. Ekanin, EAC News.
If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
The president of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste arrived in Phnom Penh close to 10 a.m. on Tuesday morning, along with an accompanying high-level delegation for a 3-day official state visit to Cambodia. EAC News reporter Dekanin has more details.
The arrival of the president of Timor-Leste, Jose Manuel Ramos Horta, was welcomed by the Minister of the Royal Palace, Kong Som-ol, and the Minister of Posts and Telecommunications, Jia Van Dijk. According to a press release issued by the Cambodian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, the president of Timor-Leste will pay a state visit to Cambodia at the invitation of His Majesty the King of Cambodia. President Ramos Horta will pay a courtesy visit to the King of Cambodia at the Royal Palace, lay wreaths at the Independence Monument, and place flower baskets at the statue of the former King of Cambodia. He will also meet with the President of the Senate, Sai Chum, the President of the National Assembly, Heng Samrin, and Prime Minister Hun Sen. The Prime Minister of Cambodia and the President of Timor-Leste will also preside over the signing of two important bilateral documents, the Aviation Services Agreement and the Memorandum of Understanding on Rice Trade between the Royal Government of Cambodia and the Government of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste. President Ramos Horta will also meet with the Deputy Commander-in-Chief of the Royal Cambodian Armed Forces, Lieutenant General Hun Manait. He is also expected to give public lectures at renowned universities in Phnom Penh, interviews with the local media, and address the first Cambodia-Timor-Leste Forum on Tourism and Business for Sustainable Development and Peace. The Cambodian Ministry of Foreign Affairs has stated that it considers the visit of President Jose Manuel Ramos Horta to be a positive sign of further deepening relations and cooperations in both bilateral and multilateral frameworks for the mutual benefit of Cambodia and Timor-Leste. Dekanin, EAC News.
The Ministry of Health has reiterated its call to increase vigilance against COVID-19 during the upcoming Water Festival and to take proper precautions while organizing celebrations. EAC News reporter Dekanin has more.
The instruction released by the Ministry of Health on Tuesday states that although Cambodia has suspended the main national celebration of the Water Festival in November, there will still be celebrations held in cities and provinces across the country to allow the public to enjoy this time, to enhance tourism, and to also provide income opportunities to citizens. People in villages, communes, capitals, and provinces across Cambodia planning to organize celebrations for the Water Festival from the 7th to the 9th of November 2022 must increase vigilance against COVID-19 and consistently implement health and safety measures, especially the 3 do's and 3 don'ts. The ministry also urges a number of other important measures, such as getting tested quickly in case of a suspected COVID-19 infection. Relevant local authorities and subnational health officials must cooperate and assign management forces to monitor and guide the effective implementation of the 3 do's and 3 don'ts. Citizens showing symptoms of COVID-19, such as fever, cough, a headache, and runny nose, should not attend water festival activities and should instead seek immediate consultation at a health center or public hospital to prevent transmission of the disease to others. Additionally, to support progress on the new normal path to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and maintain a new normal life, the ministry instructs all members of the public to continue implementing safety measures to prevent the spread of COVID-19 between individuals, families, and communities so that a large-scale transmission of COVID-19 in the wider community does not happen again. The public and all relevant ministries and subnational authorities are advised to continue following the instructions set out by Prime Minister Hun Sen and previous Ministry of Health guidelines. The ministry also requests members of the public to keep clean, maintain good hygiene, and to not spit just anywhere on the ground. According to the World Health Organization, as of the 14th of October 2022, there have been more than 620 million cases of COVID-19 in the world, with over 6.5 million deaths. Dekanin, EAC News.
The president of the National Assembly, Heng Samrin, has requested the project management unit responsible for the construction of the new National Assembly building under assistance provided by Vietnam to continue coordinating with all relevant parties to complete the construction of the building by 2024. On Tuesday morning, National Assembly President Heng Samrin urged the project management unit to work together well and properly implement the construction procedures according to the technical standards set out in the contract. The new National Assembly building is being built for $25 million with assistance from Vietnam. Two companies are managing the project: Archetype International Consulting Company and Vietnam Construction Company TCV. Construction began at the end of 2021 and is scheduled to complete in 2024. After reviewing and presenting the progress of the construction work, the National Assembly President has requested all working groups and companies involved to continue doing their work properly with transparency and accountability. The President of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste arrived in Phnom Penh close to 10 a.m. on Tuesday morning, along with an accompanying high-level delegation for a 3-day official state visit to Cambodia. EAC News reporter Dekanin has more details.
The arrival of the President of Timor-Leste, Jose Manuel Ramos Horta, was welcomed by the Minister of the Royal Palace, Kong Som Ol, and the Minister of Posts and Telecommunications, Jia Van Dijk. According to a press release issued by the Cambodian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, the President of Timor-Leste will pay a state visit to Cambodia at the invitation of His Majesty the King of Cambodia. President Ramos Horta will pay a courtesy visit to the King of Cambodia at the Royal Palace, lay wreaths at the Independence Monument, and place flower baskets at the statue of the former King of Cambodia. He will also meet with the President of the Senate, Sai Chum, the President of the National Assembly, Heng Samrin, and Prime Minister Hun Sen. The Prime Minister of Cambodia and the President of Timor-Leste will also preside over the signing of two important bilateral documents, the Aviation Services Agreement and the Memorandum of Understanding on Rice Trade between the Royal Government of Cambodia and the Government of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste. President Ramos Horta will also meet with the Deputy Commander-in-Chief of the Royal Cambodian Armed Forces, Lieutenant General Hun Manait. He is also expected to give public lectures at renowned universities in Phnom Penh, interviews with the local media, and address the first Cambodia-Timor-Leste Forum on Tourism and Business for Sustainable Development and Peace. The Cambodian Ministry of Foreign Affairs has stated that it considers the visit of President Jose Manuel Ramos Horta to be a positive sign of further deepening relations and cooperations in both bilateral and multilateral frameworks for the mutual benefit of Cambodia and Timor-Leste. Dekanin, EAC News.
ASEAN and the EU signed the Comprehensive Air Transport Agreement between the member states of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations and the European Union and its member states at the 28th ASEAN Transport Ministers meeting on Monday in Bali, Indonesia. The ASEAN-EU CATA is the world's first block-to-block air transport agreement. The agreement is expected to provide greater opportunities for airlines of ASEAN and the EU, facilitating the operation of passenger and cargo services between and beyond both regions, which will help bolster the recovery of air connectivity following the COVID-19 pandemic. Passengers can look forward to a greater variety of destinations, more flight frequencies, and more travel options between Southeast Asia and Europe. The ASEAN-EU CATA provides a foundation for closer cooperation between ASEAN and the EU in areas such as aviation safety, air traffic management, consumer protection, and environmental and social matters, and builds upon a number of existing initiatives. The minister in charge of State Secretariat of Civil Aviation of Cambodia, Dr. Mao Havanal, was quoted saying, "This year marks the 45th anniversary of ASEAN-European Union dialogue relations, and to commemorate this historic occasion, it is heartening that ASEAN and EU signed the world's first region-to-region air transport agreement in Bali on 17 October 2022 and set a significant milestone in world aviation history." Dr. Mao Havanal further added that he believes the ASEAN-EU CATA will strengthen air transport services, connecting people, cultures, and businesses across continents, as well as supporting the sustainable growth of aviation, and stated that the ASEAN-EU CATA emerges at an opportune time as ASEAN and the EU celebrates 45 years of partnership. The ASEAN-EU CATA will undergo ratification in accordance with the respective procedures of the ASEAN member states and the EU and its member states. The University of Putisastra held a 2-day research conference on improving Cambodian health and well-being on the 13th and 14th of October. Minister attached to the Prime Minister, Professor Chemrati, gave an opening speech, and Dr. Hu Sieng-hing from the Ministry of Industry, Science, Technology and Innovation launched the Health Technology Roadmap for Cambodia from 2022 to 2032. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis attended the conference to learn more about the research being done in the field of health.
During the 2 days of Improving Cambodian Health and Wellbeing Research Conference at the University of Putisastra, distinguished guests delivered keynotes, addresses and presided over a number of preliminary discussions. Professor Ian Finlay, the President and Vice-Chancellor of the University of Putisastra, explained that the purpose of the conference is to encourage discussions and collaboration between the high-qualified attendees to walk towards the development and strong health future for Cambodia. The research conference had 3 main objectives: to improve discussion and collaboration between many players in the health space, to build public and private partnerships to work together to reap the benefits from private sector innovation and public sector infrastructure, and to build a research, a critical thinking and strengthen and develop a health sector that everyone can be proud of. The university's research director, Dr. Tinke Warda, further explained the purpose of the conference and also about the kind of research the University of Putisastra conducts.
The purpose of the conference really is to promote health research, but also the importance of health doesn't sit by itself. It's influenced by education, by politics, by economics. So we've tried to bring a variety of stakeholders together with the view of working together through research that we can further health outcomes for people in Cambodia here at the University of Putisastra. And we're a health university, so we have the faculties of medicine, nursing, midwifery, dentistry, pharmacy, and also health science. We're a small university, but we really believe in the importance of evidence-based education, but also evidence-based practice, which means you need good, solid research.
The Director General of the General Department of Science, Technology and Innovation of the Ministry of Industry, Dr. Hu Sieng-hing, gave the summary of a health technology roadmap, Cambodia 2022 to 2023, which was launched in the research conference.
Right now, mostly, the conference today, we do most of our presentation also from the local, and the knowledge itself from health research are met locally, and health technology roadmap, are really a guidance to all of researchers are working in the country.
Dr. Hu Sieng-hing also spoke of the great research collaboration between the ministry and the University of Putisastra.
UP is really a player in health development sector, specifically on research on how knowledge on health, specifically health technology, met locally. From some like Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Cambodia, some like Prime Minister Hun Sen, he really supportive on science, technology and innovation. And then with him as Honorable Chair of the National Council of Science and Technology endorsed this health technology roadmap as a guidance for all stakeholders.
The 2-day research conference featured a number of great keynote speeches and preliminary discussions on a variety of different healthcare subjects, such as on oral health, psychological well-being, a One Health approach in research, and HPV-related cancer and care. The conference falls under the University of Punisastra's broad vision of a healthier Cambodia through the propagation of the health education and health-related research. The University of Putisastra brings together health education, research and technology that drives for Cambodia's future. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen has asserted that he will use a 2-character strategy to eradicate opposition leader Sam Raisy's ideology in Cambodia. In a press briefing held after renewing his voter registration information in Tak Mau City, Kandal Province on Thursday morning, Prime Minister Hun Sen said that from now on he will be implementing a two-character IF strategy, standing for isolate and finish, instead of his previously used five-character DIFID strategy, standing for divide, isolate, finish, integrate, and develop, to get rid of Sam Raisy's extremist ideology.
កាលពីមុនខ្ញុំប្រើ5តួអក្សរ divide isolate finish integration និង development ប៉ុន្តែលើកនេះខ្ញុំប្រើតែ2តួអក្សរនេះគឺ IF តែម្ដងបានសង្កេតថា isolate ហើយគឺ finish ចោលតែម្ដងហើយខ្ញុំសូមឲ្យមិត្តភ័ក្តិបរទេសទាំងឡាយយល់ឲ្យច្បាស់អំពីចំណងតាក់ទងហេតុអ្វីបាននាំដល់រឿងនេះ
The Prime Minister also stated that his upcoming trip to 4 provinces also has the aim of organizing a network to defeat what he calls the extremist ideological organization set up by Sam Rainsy. The Prime Minister of Cambodia has made it clear that he will not pardon opposition leader Sam Rainsy. The Prime Minister confirmed this matter during a press briefing in Tak Mau on Thursday morning. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has more.
The Prime Minister went to renew his voter registration on Thursday morning since he has officially changed his date of birth earlier this year. After completing registration, the Prime Minister held a press briefing where he confirmed that he would not pardon opposition leader Sam Rainsy.
អត់មានផ្លូវទេខ្ញុំធ្លាប់បានអនុគ្រោះឲ្យជនគាត់ជាតិនេះ2ដងរួចស្រេចទៅហើយតែជនគាត់ជាតិនេះមិនត្រឹមតែមិនធ្វើការកែប្រែក៏ប៉ុន្តែពួកគេនៅបន្តការបំផ្លិចបំផ្លាញកម្ពុជាដូច្នេះខ្ញុំមិនត្រឹមតែមិនលើកលែងលើកដៃលើកលែងចុះហត្ថលេខាលើកលែងទោសឲ្យជនគាត់នេះតែប៉ុណ្ណោះទេប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំកំពុងតែបំផុសចលនាដើម្បីនឹងកម្ចាត់ចោលនៅមនោគមវិជ្ជាជ្រុលនិយមនៃជនក្បត់3ចំណត់
The Prime Minister also said that the royal government was ready to resist any form of insurgery from Sam Rainsy.
យើងក៏បានត្រៀមរៀបចំខ្លួនសម្រាប់ហេតុការណ៍ដ៏អាក្រក់បំផុតបើណែឲ្យប៉ុនប៉ងបកចលាចលយើងក៏មិនខ្លាចញញើតជាមួយនឹងការប្រើប្រាស់កម្លាំងដើម្បីទប់ស្កាត់ការបំផ្លិចបំផ្លាញឬការធ្វើវិធានការនៅបង្កើតចលាចលនោះទេបើសិនជាណែហ៊ានប្រើប្រាស់អាវុធឬហិង្សាបែបប្រើអាវុធ
The Prime Minister questioned Sam Rainsy about how many of his forces could resist the royal government of Cambodia, as all armed forces are now prepared to arrest Sam Rainsy if he returns to Cambodia. The Supreme Patriarch of the Tamil Order of Cambodia, Bo Kri, has also denounced and commended Sam Rainsy for the opposition of the royal government of Cambodia. Several ministries and state institutions have also issued messages in support of the Prime Minister, while the General Commissioner of the Police has also stated his intention to arrest Sam Rainsy and place him into prison. The Royal Cambodian Armed Forces General Command have also stated it is ready to defeat any form of insurgery against the government in Cambodia. Additionally, a Phnom Penh Municipal Court judge has sentenced Sam Rainsy to life prison and deprived him of political rights on charges over handing over the foreign state in connection to a case where he signed 4 interprovincial agreements to cut off Cambodian territory for the Montagnard Vietnamese people in leave. Sam Rainsy is currently facing numerous court cases involving charges of conspiracy, incitement to cause serious chaos to social security, and incitement to disobey the military that stated after his attempt to return to Cambodia in 2019 and reestablish a Cambodian National Rescue Movement, following the dissolution of the CNRP in 2017. For this, the court sentenced him to 10 years in prison, and in March 2021, he was sentenced to 25 years in prison for murder in connection with an attempted coup overthrow the government on his return to Cambodia on the 9th of November 2019, along with other charges. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
While completing his voter registration in Tak Mau City, Kandal Province on Thursday morning, Prime Minister Hun Sen made an appeal to other political parties, asking them to distribute donations and food to citizens who have been badly affected by the floods. EAC News reporter Dekanin has more.
The Prime Minister stressed that anyone can pitch in to help citizens who have been affected by the floods, not only the government or monks. He encourages all those who can afford to do so to help ease the burden of flood victims.
ប្រជាពលរដ្ឋកំពុងតែវេទនាអញ្ចឹងទុកឲ្យប្រជាជនរដ្ឋគឺយើងនាយករដ្ឋមន្ត្រីនៅស្ងៀមយ៉ាងម៉េចយើងជាអ្នកទទួលខុសត្រូវយើងត្រូវមើលឥឡូវហ្នឹងរដ្ឋមន្ត្រីទេសរដ្ឋមន្ត្រីម្នាក់រដ្ឋមន្ត្រីនាកំពុងតែធ្វើដំណើរជុំវិញប្រទេសដើម្បីនឹងចែកស្រូវពូជចែកស្បៀងអាហារគឺប្រជាពលរដ្ឋកំពុងតែជួបការលំបាកយើងត្រូវតែជួយមិនអាចអញ្ចឹងទេបណ្ដាបរិយោបាយគឺក៏អាចទៅបានទេព្រោះវាលទ្ធភាពទៅជួយទៅមកគ្រួសារពីរគ្រួសារ3គ្រួសារទៅតាមលទ្ធភាពតែខ្លួនធ្វើទៅតែខ្លួនមិនព្រមធ្វើអ្វីទេទុកថាហ្នឹងជាភារកិច្ចរបស់រដ្ឋាភិបាល
Prime Minister Hun Sen shared that he plans to visit and distribute donations to flood victims in Battambang, Bosat, Mantiminjay and Siem Reap provinces over the next few days to help alleviate the suffering of the affected people.
ខ្ញុំមិនខ្វល់រឿងបរិស្ថានទេខ្ញុំខ្វល់កុំឲ្យប្រជាពលរដ្ឋហើយខ្ញុំមិនបានសួរថាប្រជាពលរដ្ឋនៅប៉ះណាទេខ្ញុំយកទៅចែកនេះចែកស្រូវពូជផងចែកស្បៀងផងហើយប្រជាពលរដ្ឋទេអញ្ចឹងតែឯងគួរតែដឹងគុណខ្ញុំទៅព្រោះក្នុងចំណោមអ្នកដែលខ្ញុំចែកនេះច្បាស់ជាមានមនុស្សអ្នករបស់ឆ្នោតឲ្យប៉ះដទៃហើយ
The Prime Minister stressed that he is not doing this as an opportunity to promote his election campaign. Dekanin, EAC News.
Lieutenant General Hun Manait congratulated the president of Timor-Leste for being elected into office for a second time in April 2022. During a meeting between the two leaders on Wednesday, the Deputy Commander-in-Chief of the Royal Cambodian Armed Forces, Lieutenant General Hun Manait, congratulated the President of Timor-Leste, Jose Manuel Ramos Horta, on winning the presidential election in his country for a second time this year. Lieutenant General Hun Manait said that President Ramos Horta's second state visit to Cambodia shows the friendship and good cooperation between the two countries, governments, and peoples of Cambodia and Timor-Leste. President Ramos Horta expressed satisfaction over the good relations between the two countries and also recalled the efforts made by the royal government of Cambodia under Prime Minister Hun Sen's leadership to address regional and international issues involving Timor-Leste. The Timor-Leste president also positively assessed Cambodia's rapid development since the end of the country's protracted conflict. The two sides exchanged further views on bilateral relations and cooperation in key areas such as investment, trade, agriculture, education, energy, and aviation. The president of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste arrived in Cambodia accompanied by a high-level delegation for an official 4-day state visit on Wednesday morning. Our own EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis had the privilege of moderating a press conference with President Jose Ramos Horta and his accompanying delegation at the Sofitel Hotel on Wednesday afternoon.
During his opening remarks, the President of Timor-Leste shared several words of praise for Cambodia's development.
We hear all the time about Singapore, economic miracle, about Dubai, or about China, but I think Cambodia is equally impressive the way it has changed from so much more difficult past and without really resources.
He further extended tribute to Cambodia's leadership, in particular Prime Minister Hun Sen, who he said is an architect between the country's great transformation.
Prime Minister Hun Sen has been a great friend of Timor-Leste. We have met many times in the past, not only me, but many other Timorese leaders who have been through Cambodia, been to Cambodia, have met with him. He has great feelings about Timor-Leste because of the history of Cambodia, because of his personal history, because of his experience on pulling a country out of extreme poverty and past tragedy to what it is today. So someone like him has feelings, and feelings of solidarity, of fraternity towards others in difficult situations.
President Ramos Horta also specified and thanked Prime Minister Hun Sen for supporting Timor-Leste's aspiration to join ASEAN. He spoke about the 10 years of hard work and progress of the country has made to become eligible to join the association, particularly in the 3 pillars of culture, economy and peace and security. Answering a question from EAC News on why joining ASEAN is so important for his country, President Ramos Horta stated that being part of the regional organisation facilitates many things and joining ASEAN would open up many opportunities for Timor-Leste.
ASEAN is a very influential, important trade bloc, economic bloc, community bloc. Membership in ASEAN can mean more investors from the ASEAN region and beyond coming to Timor-Leste. Will be part of a market of almost 700 million people with almost $4 trillion joint GDP. It will facilitate Timorese going to study, work across Southeast Asia. It will be give more visibility to Timor-Leste's own voice, in the sense speaking together with ASEAN countries on issues like climate change, on debt relief, or other economic, financial challenges in the world.
He, however, also added that he believes joining the association would provide mutual beneficial results for both the island nation and the ASEAN.
We can help ASEAN reaching out to other blocs where we are already entrenched, like the community of Portuguese-speaking countries. Can help ASEAN countries lobbying, reaching out to the LDCs, the least developed country, which form a formidable bloc in the UN system. So we will bring something to ASEAN, not only benefiting us, but who knows, we can benefit ASEAN as a group.
The President of Timor-Leste will meet with the King of Cambodia, the President of the Senate, the President of the National Assembly, and Prime Minister Hun Sen during his visit. President Ramos Horta and Prime Minister Hun Sen will preside over signing of two important bilateral documents: the Aviation Services Agreement and the Memorandum of Understanding on Rice Trade between the Royal Government in Cambodia and the Government of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
After announcing the launch of the IF Isolate and Finish strategy to cut off Sam Raisy's political ideology in Cambodia, Prime Minister Hun Sen today announced that he will pardon those who choose to separate themselves from Sam Rainsy. During a third meeting with residents of Runtaik village on Friday morning, the Prime Minister said that he knows about those who have joined forces with Sam Rainsy, including a political party in Cambodia, so he urges these people to hurry up and cut ties. He added that those who are currently living abroad can be pardoned by the Prime Minister and allowed to return home if they do so. The Prime Minister has warned any party that remains affiliated with Sam Rainsy that they will also face lawsuits in the process of dissolution. On Thursday, the Prime Minister announced his IF, Isolate and Finish strategy to dissolve Sam Rainsy's 3 generations of treacherous ideology for the sake of Cambodia's peace. This is the second time a political ideology is being abolished in Cambodia after the DIFID defensive strategy was launched to dissolve the Khmer Rouge in the 1990s. Prime Minister Hun Sen has told the Minister of Land Management to issue land titles to the families who have volunteered to demolish their old houses in the Angkor area and relocate to Runtaik village and the Piak Snang development zone, so that residents will be able to more conveniently borrow money from banks. EAC News reporter Anthony Ellis has the story.
Prime Minister Hun Sen expressed these remarks during his third meeting with the residents of Runtaik village on Friday morning.
នឹងផ្ដល់ឲ្យទៅជាគេហៅថាដីសង្គមគិច្ចតែខ្ញុំមិនយល់យ៉ាងដូចនោះទេខ្ញុំគិតថាបន្ទាប់ពីនឹងទៅត្រូវចេញបិណ្ឌកម្មសិទ្ធិឲ្យបងប្អូនតែម្ដងទៅព្រោះបងប្អូនត្រូវចេញកម្មសិទ្ធិឲ្យតែម្ដងទៅព្រោះបងប្អូនត្រូវការយកទៅដាក់នៅធនាគារដើម្បីខ្ចីប្រាក់គេមិនអញ្ចឹងណា ហើយបើដីសង្គមគិច្ចដីសម្បទានសង្គមគិច្ចអាហ្នឹងគឺបងប្អូនអត់អាចទៅរកចេញប្រាក់ធនាគារបានទេព្រោះយើងអត់តចេញប្លង់ឲ្យ
The Prime Minister clarified that the land titles will only be given to those who volunteer to relocate to Runtaik village in Piak Snang development zone. He instructed that the Minister of Land Management, Urban Planning and Construction, Chit Sapara, to systematically register the land for residents in order to create the strong village. The Prime Minister also announced that some land in Runtaik village has been demarcated for the construction of the new Bantai Srai and Angkor Thom district halls, after buildings of the previous district halls, located in the Apsara conservation area, were demolished in order to preserve the integrity of the heritage site. Currently, there are 5,865 families who have volunteered to relocate themselves from the Angkor Resort area in order to preserve the heritage site. These families have received compensation from the rural government to live in Runtaik village and Piak Snang development zone. Between the 25th of August and the 20th of October 2022, a total of 9,134 families have relocated to Runtaik village Bentesrai District, Siem Reap Province, and Pasning Development Zone located in Pasning Cha Village, Pasning Commune, Uncle Tom District, Siem Reap Province. Anthony Ellis, EAC News.
Electricité du Cambodge has announced that it will be waiving electricity fees for residents of Runta Aik Village and Piek Snang Development Zone in Bante Sray District, Siem Reap Province. Waiving these electricity fees can benefit more than 30,000 people, saving them more than 3 million real. EAC News reporter Decca Nin has the details.
The Prime Minister made this announcement during a meeting with the residents of Runta Aik Village on Friday morning. He, however, clarified that it is only the electricity line drawn to the front of people's houses that will be free, and residents will still need to be responsible for the electricity used in their homes. The cost of waiving these electricity fees will amount to more than $6 million for EDC. Between 25th of August and 20th of October 2022, a total of 9,134 families have relocated to Runta Aik Village, Binti Sray District, Siem Reap Province, and Piek Snang Development Zone located in Piek Snang Cha Village, Piek Snang Commune, Uncle Tom District, Siem Reap Province. Currently, there are 5,865 families who have volunteered to relocate themselves from the Angkor Resort area in order to preserve the heritage site. These families have received compensation from the royal government to live in Runta Aik Village and Piek Snang Development Zone. Nikanin, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen has announced that he is providing support to help build a pagoda in Runta Aik Village with a contribution of $100,000, along with other donors and philanthropists who have joined the Minister of Land Management to build a pagoda in this area. The Prime Minister made this announcement while meeting with residents of Runta Aik Village on Friday morning. He stated that the project to build this pagoda will cost at least $500,000. He added that as of 21st October 2022, a total of $1.51 million has been collected from donors and philanthropists for the development of infrastructure and pagodas in Runta Aik Village. Runta Aik Village has been designated as a new satellite city area after thousands of families from the Angkor Resort area voluntarily moved to the village with compensation from the royal government in order to preserve the integrity of the heritage site, which is put at risk by modern buildings. In order to better convenience residents, Runta Aik Village will see the construction of new accommodation, a maternity ward, a general examination and treatment center, new schools, pagodas, gardens with trees, fruits, and vegetables, roads, new infrastructure, a water source, and electrical supply. The royal government is also spending $6 million for the implementation of a project to build a water supply system in the development area. The Cambodian minister in charge of the State Secretariat of Civil Aviation, Dr. Mao Havanal, signed the Aviation Services Agreement with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste, Adalgisa Magno, on Thursday at the Peace Palace. Prime Minister Hun Sen and the President of Timor-Leste presided over the signing ceremony. This agreement contains 21 articles of guidelines and compliances from the International Civil Aviation Organization, which will bring benefits to Cambodia and the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste through the establishment of close ties in the field of civil aviation and security cooperation. This agreement also includes provisions on passenger safety and establishes transport links for both international passengers and goods. The agreement is expected to lead to an influx of passengers traveling by air between Cambodia and Timor-Leste to mutually develop trade, economy, tourism, investment, and other related sectors, establish air transport services, connect people, culture, and business between the two countries, and also support the sustainable growth of aviation. New opportunities will be created for airline companies from Cambodia and Timor-Leste to cooperate on code-sharing flights and to also explore the possibility of launching direct flights between the two countries. In addition to signing this bilateral aviation services agreement during the signing ceremony presided over by Prime Minister Hun Sen and President Jose Manuel Ramos Horta, a memorandum of understanding on rice trade was also signed by the Cambodian Minister of Commerce, Pan Sosak, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste, Adilgiza Magno. It should be noted that Cambodia has already signed air transport services agreements and memoranda of understanding with 47 countries around the world. Thanks for watching the weekly roundup here on EAC News Channel. For more breaking news and updates, you can check out our website eacnews.asia or search EAC News on Telegram, Smart TV, or at your favorite app store. More from the EAC News team on Monday night at 8 p.m. We will see you then.